Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Gretchen. I want to talk today about your neck and foundation. So I'm 59 and you know, the skin on our neck is a lot thinner than the skin that's on our face. And so it actually shows a lot more sun distress than we think. So, you know, I think we first start wearing makeup, maybe in our 20s, 30s, even in our 40s, we really kind of just stop at the jaw because we think, oh, we're good. And you kind of have that vision of what it used to be like when people used to not wear the right color, and you could just see it as like a turtleneck of makeup. But what I like to do is, you know, this area, the lower part of your face should match your neck. So if you're going somewhere to get your face color matched to your foundation, if you want to message me, I can help you with Saint, which is the makeup that I use. But you want that to seamlessly blend, because as you talk, as you go about your expressions and so forth, you will see your jaw move, and that still needs to be the same shade here. So see this right here? That's a scar from a biopsy from cancer. That's kind of my gauge of where I go. I don't really go too much farther down, but that's just because that's on me. That doesn't mean you don't need to, or you don't even have to go that far. You just have to kind of look at your neck and see. So this is just an eyeshadow pencil or brush, sorry, I don't use anymore. And I'm just kind of putting it on. The shades will look like, you can tell this is the palette I use. So if you're wondering why are you painting things on, you can do it this way if you're using Saint, or you can get a palette and put your liquid on there. And then it gives you a little more control than just putting it directly on your skin. So at this point, I'm just putting it on. There's no blending, there's no prettiness to it. I have like a little cluster of spots right there. Could be from my pregnancies 100 years ago, or it could be from the sun. I don't know, but I try to cover that up. I'm not going into the cheek area or under the eye because I'm going to use a different color there, so I don't think I need to layer more makeup than I need to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and then I'm just going to go above the eyebrow on both sides, not coming in the middle, because I'm going to put another color there as well. Okay, so that's it. It's on. It's on. Now, this is one size. It's the Patrick Starr concealer. I think it's the buttery something. Anyway, the color is medium 1. This color's a little too yellow for me, but you know, once you pay for something, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm going to use it up. I'll blend and make do, but I'll use it up. I have all these hairs that I didn't quite get into my hair roller thing. Okay, so I'm going to start and come down the bridge of my nose and just do 2 little arms out there like that. And then this whole area here, I'm just going to throw some of that on, and then I'm going to put it over. I always tell you to put it over your eye, because your color of skin on your eye is really thin, and it can tend to look gray or blue. So you want your eyeshadows to be true to the color that they really are. Okay, let me put a little on this side. As you can tell, it is kind of yellow. But I'd rather be too yellow than too white, too bright. You know what I'm saying? Then you kind of look like you've got spotlights all over your little face. Okay, and sometimes I just put a little bit on the sides here, like that. Okay, a technique that I use, if I want a fuller coverage, I'm going to use a brush. This is the detail brush from Saint. Comes in 2 ends, so this little end is good for under your eye. And then see how tight these bristles are? It actually packs the color right where you want to. But I prefer, if I'm not on camera, or if I'm not doing an event, you know, like an evening thing, then I prefer a more sheer kind of coverage. So this is the Perfector sponge from Saint, but you can use whatever one you like. I like this one because it's really dense and it holds itself. It doesn't start breaking apart as you use it. And I just ran it under some water and squeezed it out. And now all I'm doing is I'm tapping it at first just to get it moving. and I'm just going to pull it down. So you're not putting a whole lot on. You're just kind of melting the color. You know what I'm saying? And it really does make a difference. Of course, you have to keep in mind what clothes are you wearing for the day, because you don't want to get it, a collar and things like that. So just kind of be your own gauge on that, what you want to wear. Okay, so I'm just pulling it. I'm touching it and gently pulling it just to blend it out. You can see that this has a different shade, because that's my Jesus skin. I don't have anything right there yet because I'm going to put contour and bronzer and all that kind of stuff. So I just didn't want to layer it. So I don't care that these colors blend. That's actually what you want to do. If you notice, I didn't put anything here because I'm going to be pulling color there anyway. Try to not use that much. You'll be surprised how much you can actually get away with when you don't overload your face with product before you need to, because once you start blending out, oops, I got that in my hair. I had somebody message me saying, "Ooh, you have dandruff." Actually, what it was my moisturizer hadn't set and it was rolling off and it was sticking into my hair. I promise I don't have dandruff, but if I did, oh well. Oh well, you little hater. Okay. So at this point, all I'm doing is just really pushing that into the eye, and see how this this sponge has a tip. It's real good to just kind of get into that corner and push it in there. Same thing on this side. I know it sounds weird, but it actually feels kind of good because it's cool, because it's kind of damp. I wash my sponges and my brushes once a week, in case you're thinking, ew, you're gross. I'm actually pretty insistent on being clean with stuff that goes on my face. Okay, so we've just kind of blended it out, and then I'm gonna let it kind of dry. It's a little bit damp because of the sponge, but you see how you're just using what's there, and then you're just blending it with something very sheer like this. I know we're only talking about foundations today, but I am going to just kind of walk through contour. So because I'm using a cream, I haven't set my face yet, so I'm just kind of drawing a little line where the cheekbone is. You can either put it above the cheekbone or below the cheekbone. Now, it's kind of funny. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there talking about, what's that called? This fat buckle area in here. I guess a lot of people are having it removed, so you have kind of a higher cheekbone or a more sculpted face. Hey, I always say, if you just wait till you're 59, it just happens anyway. Somebody accused me of having that done. I'm like, no, honey, that's just gravity going away. Okay, so I like to kind of go whatever's left on my brush, just kind of define the jaw. And see these nice, pretty little bands? Kind of give that a little love too. Now you could take a smaller sponge and do the same thing. I don't have that one damp, so I'm not going to do that, but I have done that before. This is the powder brush. Again, 2 ends from Saint. See how tiny those bristles are? So I am literally just tapping it. What I'm doing right now is I'm kind of letting it warm up to my skin. The contour texture from the Saint color, or any other colors, this color's indigo. It's kind of stiff. It still is a cream, but it's really kind of stiff. And it's made to be that way so that color's not traveling all over. You want it to stay just in that spot. But I am kind of warming it to my skin as I push it in there. So wherever you put that line, that's kind of your outline, right? So if you put a line here, but you really wanted to blend way up here, you're going to start over, girl, because it's not going to be in the right spot. And then I just push this up into kind of the hairline. If you're blonde, kind of be aware, and you can always clean it up a little bit. But this is just to kind of balance and warm up your face. if you wear bangs, go ahead and do this step a little bit, because when the wind blows or you have movement of your head when you're talking or whatever, it still matters. Still matters. Okay, don't forget under the nose if you do that. You look like you have something under your nose. Okay, just following that jawline. And again, nothing has been set, so it's cream. You can move it. I always like to go back and see, like, is it too dark? I'm not a huge fan of like extreme color. Okay, there's that. Okay, I'm going to put on, this is my Bella, the color's called Bella Bronzer. It's from Saint. And this is just, again, an eyeshadow brush that I don't use. So as I put the contour underneath, now I'm going to go in, get that hair out of the way. I'm going to go in a little closer, as if the sunshine hit me right there, you know what I'm saying? Because the way I'm going to blend this with the brush that I'm going to use, it's not going to follow that line. It's going to actually be, more feathered, so it's going to look a little bit different. And I'm just kind of coming in on my temples. Okay, so like that. And then I like to use a fluffier brush. This is the Blush and Bronzer brush. This end I only use for powder to set. You don't want to put your brush in cream and powder, because it will make your brushes crusty and it'll make your makeup crusty, like your palette, your tin if you're using cream. Okay, so I'm using the smaller end, and I'm just kind of dabbing it. That's kind of my technique that I don't really do this motion very much. And I can bring whatever's left over, I can just kind of bring it in a little bit, and I'm just warming up the face. Now the thing with cream makeup is that you can either leave it kind of dewy and set it with a setting spray, which will make it a little more dewy and shiny, or you can do a more matte finish where you set it with setting powder, which is what I do. So there's that. I like to set with powder because I'm always on camera, not this camera, but like a TV station, and so I have to have a more matte finish. Okay, one thing that I have been doing, and I did it it wasn't intentional. I was in a hurry, so I just took a lipstick that I was using and I used it for my cheek color. This shade is from Ulta Beauty and it's called Nudely Interrupt. Okay, so it's kind of a, I don't know, it has some rose shade to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit like right there. Okay, kind of in the apple area. I don't need to go all the way up because I'm going to blend it anyway, and it'll end up being there. If you put your blush all the way up, by the time you blend it, you just have way too much. So another trick is if you have a lipstick shade that has a shimmer to it, you can use this on your cheeks the same, or that on your cheeks the same way, and then you have like a little illuminator that you would, sometimes you can put on afterwards anyway. But this is just kind of with this shade, it's kind of a sheer color, but it's still there. So it's a hack. There's a hack for you. Okay, now I'm going to set my face through a process called baking. I did not make this up, so I don't get the credit, but this is a blender, a beauty blender sponge, and sponge on one side and powder puff on the other. So all I'm going to do is load my powder, and then underneath my cheekbone, I'm going to define it out with this and come down to the jaw. And I'm just going to leave it. Just going to leave it. That's why it's called baking. And what this does is it just defines the area. And then whatever's left over, I'm going to go under and do my eyes. Now I know you're like, girl, you're in your 50s, you shouldn't be wearing powder under your eyes. You better, or your makeup's going to sit in the wrinkles, it's going to crease, and you're not going to like that outcome. Plus, too, it's not going to stay in place. And this will actually last me all day. I have meetings up until 8 o'clock tonight, so this is going to last me all day. And then I'll powder the rest later, but for now, I'm just... Okay, remember we put that baking powder, we put that baking loose powder on, and now it's time to blend it. So this is the blush and bronzer brush, and it's the large N, and I'm just going to tap it all over the cheek. So that color, that shadow already set, and then whatever was left over, I'm just moving it around like that. So when you're using a cream makeup, you do have to set it, whether you use a powder or a setting spray, just so it doesn't move, you know, like maybe you're on the phone or something like that. Sorry. And you don't want it to move. So that is, see, the neck is pretty simple. Actually, I'm going to just put a little powder down there too. So I didn't go crazy on the neck, but I just wanted it to blend. Okay, everybody, have a good day. I'll see you next time. Bye.